connecting neighborhoods across the Treasure and Magic Valleys, telling stories from within our communities. This is Idaho News 6.
4 homicides, 2 counties, and 1 suspect now in custody. Thanks for joining Idaho News 6. I'm senior reporter Don Nelson. Tonight, an investigation into a spree of murders across southern Idaho. It's important to note, police say there is no ongoing threat to the public. Twin Falls neighborhood reporter Joey Martin joins us with the very latest.
A Burley man is in jail accused of killing 4 people across 2 counties here in the Magic Valley. I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin in Rupert, where the first victim was discovered on Tuesday afternoon, prompting a joint investigation among several agencies and the later discovery of 3 more victims.
It was crazy. I was talking about it today and it was like just mind blowing. I was still trying to put it together.
Neighbors in Rupert are on edge after a home turned into a crime scene and is now part of a quadruple homicide investigation. 56-year-old Ben Naylor of Burley is now accused of killing 4 people in the Mini-Cassia region on Tuesday. According to the Cassia County Sheriff's Office, police in Rupert were first called to this home Tuesday afternoon, where they discovered a dead body. Within hours, investigators located 2 additional victims in Cassia County and a 4th later found in a vehicle in Minidoka County. Police say their evidence indicates Naylor acted alone and say there is no ongoing threat to the public. They did not share any information on the victims or potential motives. Carlos Llamas lives across the street in Rupert, where the first homicide was discovered.
I went to work last night, so I was kind of worried leaving my mom at home, you know. She said she felt safe, and my sister even asked to come home and stay with her.
Llamas says he didn't have a lot of interaction with the people who live there, but assumed at first it was only a minor issue, like a barking dog. But once the police showed up, things escalated quickly.
I knew it was probably something much worse like that. When he said it has nothing to do with a dog, it's a lot more worse than that. And, you know, and the tape obviously kind of gave it off as well.
Police are being tight-lipped about the details in this case, but as soon as we learn more about the ongoing investigation, we'll keep you updated right here on Idaho News 6. Reporting in Rupert, I'm your neighborhood reporter Joey Martin, Idaho News 6.
Another stabbing in Jerome, this one unrelated. Police dispatch say they responded to a late-night fight between drunken co-workers that left one man stabbed and another with cuts on his arms. 4 other men were arrested at the scene for obstructing law enforcement. Investigators say they now identified human remains found in eastern Idaho nearly 3 years ago. Now the investigation turns into how they got there. ISP says a skull discovered by a fisherman in the Fort Hall Bottoms in 2022 belonged to Lucia Olivia Pickett. Police say she was a transient, last seen in Pocatello 3 years prior in 2019. Her identification is the result of a multi-year, multi-agency effort, including the FBI. Dental records providing the final confirmation. Now investigators are asking for your help. If you knew her, saw her before her disappearance, or know where she might have been staying before she died, call the Power County Sheriff's Office.
Scott Dorval with your Idaho News 6 forecast.
Good evening, everyone. We're looking at the skies from Boise, looking down towards the south. Here's the Boise Depot from the Grove Hotel. Got a good thunderstorm developing here down to the south. Another one here to the south and west. Right now, it's sunny to partly cloudy over Boise and most of the Treasure Valley at 97 degrees. But near the Snake River, that's where we're starting to see some of those thunderstorms beginning to track to the north. A lot of lightning right here approaching southwest of Murphy here. And we had one little system go across the Snake River, then it kind of died out. There are more storms, one going just to the west side of Jordan Valley, now north of Jordan Valley, and some well to the west of Weiser, that eventually some of these storms could push to the north. The key is a lot of wind is going to be generated by these storms eventually as they start to cool air just rushes out ahead of it. And so we could get wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour at some point, say between 6 and 8 o'clock through the Treasure Valley. This is going to tell me where the wind is. You see some wind gusts down near the Snake River. That's it right now. Nothing is really generated just yet, but we will eventually have that later this evening. You may not get rain, but you could get some wind and some blowing dust. So just keep an eye out for that as the visibilities could drop. So high temperatures since midnight, 97, still hot, not as hot as yesterday. And then here shows the wind gusts right now, not too intense. But the forecast again shows a chance for some thunderstorms even later this evening. I don't think at 10 o'clock. I think it's going to be over by then, but I'm going to keep you updated on that. 61 degrees, gusty wind diminishing overnight tonight, and then eventually tomorrow breezy and comfortable. The temperatures in the 80s most most of the day, right around 90 for the actual high temperature. Quick check at your commute time coming out of Boise towards Meridian. No weather delays yet or anything like that, so typical 30 minutes as we would expect. And out to Caldwell, again, just a typical slowdowns here, although it seems to be a little bit more than typical, 48 minutes. Again, storms are tracking in our direction. The wind will probably come out ahead of it. I'm going to have the latest on that coming up.
School choice is a big conversation nowadays, and for this upcoming school year, the Emmett School District is offering a new online education option that anyone can enroll in from any part of the state. I'm your Emmett reporter Alexander Huddleston, learning more about Virtual Prep Academy of Idaho.
Today's technology gives us opportunities to really be flexible with what education looks like.
Since the school shutdowns during COVID, many Idaho school districts started offering students online learning opportunities. But now Emmett School District is jumping on board with the Virtual Prep Academy of Idaho.
Instead of limiting options, this academy actually increases the options available to families and students.
Emmett School District spokesperson Amanda Weirs says they will be offering hundreds of classes, including some CTE courses.
Even like HVAC and plumbing and cosmetology.
I talked to an Emmett mom who has 3 kids enrolled online for next school year. She told me off camera her kids enjoy the school setting but can't get the same experience in the typical homeschool format. Her students can't wait for classes to start on August 18th. On top of the wide course variety, this academy is free to enroll and serves every grade level across the state.
For K through 5, for the online, we'll be using Ed Options Academy through Edmentum, which is a very high quality online curriculum, very interactive. And then the secondary level, we'll be using Ed Options Academy as well, along with IDLA and BYU online courses.
Students enrolled in the program will also receive a $750 per semester in a learning account to use for field trips, music lessons, or any other extracurricular activities that aren't usually offered online. The district says that enrollment for this free platform is still open for the upcoming school year. I'm your Emmett neighborhood reporter, Alexander Huddleston, for Idaho News 6.
Bruneau Elementary is staying open for now. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker here at Rimrock Junior Senior High, where district leaders say they'll spend the next year working on a long-term plan for the school's future. A crowd of nearly 50 packed into the Bruneau Grandview District's school board meeting with parents and residents who say the small school of Bruneau Elementary is the heart of their town.
When you have a school room full of about 50 people, you better start paying attention to what your patrons want, and you know that there is a problem.
Sherry Collier would know. She sat on the district school board for 9 years in the 1990s. After weeks of uncertainty, the board decided to keep Bruneau Elementary open for the 2025 to 2026 school year, but only if staff can be secured. They also voted to close the school the following year, unless voters choose to keep it open in a November 2025 election. Superintendent Jeff Blazer said the goal was to act early, not react under pressure.
We feel that it is in the best interest of students, staff, families, and communities to make a transition in a manner that is planned with thoughtful intent rather than forced, if possible.
We'll have more on the future of Bruneau Elementary on this story on IdahoNews6.com. I'm neighborhood reporter Riley Shoemaker, Idaho News 6.
The future of this empty lot in South Boise may be full of commercial businesses. I'm your South Boise neighborhood reporter Brady Caskey, talking to the developer and neighbors at a neighborhood meeting about what they want to see built on this lot at 5 Mile Road in Lake Hazel. A big turnout of neighbors Tuesday evening at a community meeting about the future of this empty lot.
This is like my daughter would have said opening Christmas presents, this is what I always wanted.
Carlos Vidales has been very outspoken about what he wants to see developed in the area near his home.
We simply want to have businesses there. It's always been set up for businesses. We want businesses.
You may remember him from a story last year when we previously reported that this same lot was up for rezoning to mixed use to include 118 residential units alongside some commercial space. That proposal was denied by the Ada County Commissioners. Rocky Mountain Companies is the future developer of this land. They hosted the community meeting as part of the permitting process in Ada County. I spoke with the company's president Ben Zamzow after the meeting. He declined an on-camera interview but did say that they are looking forward to bringing more commercial businesses to this underserved part of town. Rocky Mountain Companies plans to move forward with the permitting process and hopes to see businesses open in the area come fall of 2027. Reporting in South Boise, I'm Brady Caskey for Idaho News 6.
Some breaking news just into the Idaho News 6 newsroom. U.S. Marshals calling off a manhunt for Travis Decker in central Idaho. Searchers say they located the man multiple witnesses thought could be the at-large murder suspect accused of killing his 3 daughters. The Marshals say the hiker has a similar height and build to Decker with dark features, a beard and tattoos, but it's not him. They've also confirmed this man was camping in Bear Creek over the weekend, where witnesses also mistook him for Decker. They thank the public for your help and your tips, and they'll continue to search elsewhere. Coming up, local leaders in Texas facing questions about a flood warning system that was never built. The very latest as the window to find missing survivors starts to close.
Time running out to find survivors in the debris here in Texas. Kerr County hit the hardest after the catastrophic flooding along the Guadalupe River.
A lot of this debris is bottlenecked, so it's a lot of large trees, it's a lot of the vehicles, it's a lot of home structures have built up in these areas.
Search and rescue teams from all over the country joining in on the effort.
And this is what all of these crews from all across the country, by the way, are having to sort through. They are going through all of this inch by inch, trying to find any of these victims.
Harrowing stories of survival emerging from the debris. Chilling new video of a family climbing trees to escape. A 15-year-old son calling out for his mother.
I can climb higher, but I'm okay. Are you high? Mom, are you in a tree?
That mom and her son surviving.
All these things just rushing down the river. And I grabbed hold of that next spot. And the next thing I saw coming for me was a house.
But her 2 daughters were at Camp Mystic. Robertson's daughters survived. Other stories of staggering loss as well.
So my neighbor, they're over here trying to find the baby, so they're kind of quietly going down there because the cops already told them, stop chainsawing everything. And they're just keep hunting.
And mounting frustration from residents about the lack of an early warning system. Records reviewed by ABC News show that Kerr County Commissioner brought up the idea of an early warning system in 2016 and discussed it at least 20 times, but the county unable to secure FEMA funding. And records show just 2 days before this catastrophic flooding, Texas inspectors went through hard-hit Camp Mystic, signing off on its emergency plan.
Officials say Camp Mystic staff and volunteers were briefed in case an emergency like this happens, but obviously this catastrophic flooding happening in the middle of the night. Jacqueline Lee, ABC News, Kerrville, Texas.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Scott Dorval. That red flag warning remains in effect till midnight. We've got lightning out there, so new fire starts are possible. And with gusty wind, those could spread rapidly. I'll have the latest on that. Plus, a nicer day coming up for tomorrow and for the weekend. I've got those changes as well.
Scott Dorval with your Idaho News 6 forecast.
Good evening, everyone. We started out the day with plenty of sunshine throughout the valley today. Then you see the clouds that started to form towards the west here. Looks like our time lapse is holding up. Temperature, though, is showing how it's been climbing to 97. Hit a 104 yesterday, tying the record set in 2017. Latest picture as we turn the camera towards the south now. Here's the Boise Depot. You see the traffic coming in on Capitol Boulevard, and you see a thunderstorm here. This is just coming across the Snake River here. Another one to the southwest of us. So they're towering, and as these storms, air rushes in as the storms form, and then that rain cools that air. That air hits the ground because it's colder now. It hits the ground and rushes out ahead of it. And so not seeing too much wind yet, but later this evening we are expected to get some storms nearby with some gusty wind. No power outages to be reported. I'm going to watch this just in case we may get some spotty power outages this evening, depending just how strong that wind does get. So 97 for the high today, 98 in Ontario, 96 in Caldwell. It's been 86 in McCall. It's a little cooler than it was yesterday, just not quite as hot. And there you see that cloud cover building throughout the afternoon, and then the lightning strikes. So the storm's firing here, the energy in the atmosphere now being released, and this will just kind of come right across southwest Idaho and then slide up into the Boise Mountains and points east as we go through the evening. Here's a picture of the latest off the radar, and you see then again it shows showers and storms tracking from southwest to northeast, and a good cluster right here, a lot of lightning. This one, if it were to hold together should go east of Boise, maybe from Lucky Peak south and eastward here. The last one ahead of it did weaken, but we'll have to see how this one. Eventually, the showers may just form right over the Boise to Caldwell area a little later this evening. Again, gusty wind can come out of this. There are storms to the west. I'm trying to approach Ontario. We may get that here coming up shortly. Jordan Valley had one, and just west of Melba, that shower there. So here's that one storm system tracking northeast. I'm going to watch it closely here. Let's take a look at the latest Doppler, and it's tough to tell whether it doesn't. Looks like it might be weakening just a hair, but maybe not. There's the Snake River again right near Oriana. This will continue to cross there. So what about the wind? We look at little pockets of green that would be headed towards the radar site and towards the valley here. You see some pockets here, but no big arc of wind just yet. We may see that a little later this evening. So we have the potential for wind gusts to 50 miles per hour in the Treasure Valley, maybe a little higher in some remote areas. We'll keep an eye on that for you. It's this little disturbance right here that's triggering the storms out ahead of it. This cold front will sweep through overnight tonight, and the combination of those two sweeping to the east will drop our temperature to the upper 80s to near 90 tomorrow, which is good news. But we have to get through all the lightning this evening, and so the lightning strikes that occur that are on the periphery of these storms that don't have the rainfall, we could get some new fire starts. So if you see smoke billowing, please report the fires, because they can spread rapidly in an environment like this. And this right here, an indication of winds over 50 miles an hour in the forecast, may not be there, but it shows that there's enough energy in the atmosphere to do that. And so gusty wind likely this evening. For tomorrow, it's all gone. A little breeze, cooler, some places in the upper 80s to near 90. A really nice day tomorrow. I think it's going to be a nice day Friday as well. We get up to normal highs at 92 and a low of 59. Beautiful start to the day on Friday. Then over the weekend, starting to heat up, mid-90s, still comfortable in the morning. It gets hotter on Sunday with a high near 100. And look at that, highs near 100 all the way through the upper 90s, right through the middle part of next week and possibly towards next weekend.
When we get back, it's Wellness Wednesday, and a new study indicates that many who are eligible for medication to lower cholesterol aren't actually taking it. Why? After the break.
Every year in the U.S., about 805,000 people have a heart attack, and more than 795,000 men and women have a stroke. But there are medications to reduce the risk of both.
Despite the benefits of these treatments for high cholesterol, they're underutilized.
Dr. Caleb Alexander with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health is lead author of a study that analyzed 5,000 U.S. adults. About half of those studied were eligible to take medication to lower cholesterol, but only about 23% of the patients who had never had a major cardiovascular event were taking the medicine to reduce risk of one. And of those who have had a major event, only about 68% were taking the medication.
These treatments include statins, which many people may be familiar with. These drugs are safe and effective and have been on the market for many, many years, but they're also newer treatments.
Alexander says there are many reasons people aren't taking cholesterol-lowering medication. Many are undiagnosed and skip yearly checkups so they don't know they have high cholesterol. Others may not feel they need treatment or are unable to afford it, and others don't remember to take the medicine consistently.
Tens of thousands of heart attacks and tens of thousands of strokes could be prevented each year if people were receiving treatment for high cholesterol that's in accordance with the best expert guidelines.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Now we'll look outside from the Treasure Valley Chevy Dealers Tower Cam.
Last check of that forecast. My pick day of the week is tomorrow with temperatures in the 80s most of the afternoon. Might touch 90 later in the day. A little bit of a breeze, a refreshing day, and a really nice day Friday with that low temperature of 59, then 92. I'm going to start to heat up over the weekend, mid-90s Saturday, upper 90s on Sunday, and then remaining in the upper 90s all the way through the middle part of next week. But a lot of sunshine after we get through the storms and the gusty wind this evening. I'll be back in Idaho News 6 at 6 for an update on the weather that's coming in this evening. Plus, look at that extended forecast. We'll see you then at 6 o'clock.